Hey, what is up guys? GuitarRock here. Welcome back to another Nikke Goddess of Victory video. Alright, the Dazzling Cupid event is finally here. Alongside with that, we have Naga available in a banner right now. So Tia is going to come later on next week. That's going to be 1 week apart from the time of me posting this video, right? So that's going to be something that's going to be a little bit difficult for us to gauge the full potential of these two duo, right? Because like they sort of ideally need each other. With that being said, how strong is Naga on her own, or is there any other characters that can pair with her for the time being? I did a lot of testing, at least 3 to 4 hours of testing. Everything that you're gonna hear from me is going to be based upon, you know, the day one impressions. So obviously I can only test so much. There's limited capacity that I can do so. With the bosses that we have access to right now, is going to be Special Interception Altesin, which is a train boss, right? Which is available to all the players. I did a bunch of testing here. So we're gonna talk more in detail with how strong Naga is and give you guys my personal honest opinions. But first, let's show you guys the pulls. Alright, it's time. Can we one tap this or not? It's only Naga banner. 40 pulls. So let's see if I got this or not. Alright, 40 pulls. Do I have this? Okay, so let's see. Alright, not quite here yet. It's not quite here yet. Okay, it's not a one tap. Alright, so 20 pulls. Time to use gems. Why do I have 5 tickets? I can do a little bit more for. Alright, can I finally get 2 tap this? Woo! Let's go. Okay, is it here? Damn. Me? Sillies. Come on, come on, come on. Come on. Karin. We're doing this for Karin. Yes! Yes! Yes!
I can't wait to be in a graduating
yes!
together with you, teacher.
Okay, so first things first, let's break down Naga's abilities as a whole. And I'm gonna try my best to explain this in as beginner term as possible, because I noticed a lot of you guys were asking me how come I don't use certain characters, like for example Polly, why doesn't she work with certain characters, etc. If you guys are not aware, Naga is a character that's mainly focused on boosting her characters or boosting the allies, buffing them in such a way that they have an incredible strength. She's a very good supporter, buffer, etc. She has, her kit is divided into several parts, but you can see her skill 1 and her burst skill has a very special condition where activates when applying shield. Alright, so you need to apply shield on her. Alright, she needs to basically receive the shield. As you can see, once you do that, everybody in the team is going to basically get damage dealt when attacking core increased by 61%. This is at skill at level 4, right? Same goes for the burst skill. So when you get this particular part, when you activate the burst skill, when applying shield, everybody is going to get increased of attack by 21.78%. I do think that this particular one, the burst skill, this second part is very important, and this is going to determine how strong she is overall as a character. Now, what's the problem then? The problem here is, in general, you ideally go through in this phase: burst 1, burst 2, and then burst 3, right? So you need a burst 1 character to activate the burst, and then chain to burst 2, and then chain to burst 3. However, a lot of burst 2 characters are the one that can generate shield right now. So this includes Polly, alright, this includes Arya, this includes Folk, Wang, alright, and sadly, Naga is also in burst 2. Now, people are asking, why don't I use Polly? Now, let me explain to you why. Polly is going to be a very bad combo. It doesn't work very well because Polly's burst skill is the one that gives shield, as you can see. So it requires Polly to cast her burst skill. So if Polly casts her burst skill and Polly takes up burst 2, then Naga cannot cast her burst skill. Alright, so which is why Naga cannot activate this part of the skill. Same applies to Arya, same applies to a lot of other characters that their shield are basically tied to their burst. this is going to be something that's a big issue because you can only have one burst 2 character activating a burst 2. There's no way for you to activate 2 burst 2 characters at the same time because after burst 2 activation, you are going to go into burst 3. So that's how the game works, right? So if you pair with Polly, Arya, all of these characters, they are going to have a huge issue. Naga will not be able to fully utilize this particular skill because this skill requires her to burst, right? So that's going to be the issue. So which brings us to the biggest issue right now. You need a shield generator either on the passive skill or on a different burst, either a burst 1 or maybe burst 3. But I don't think there's anyone that can do that in burst 3. So burst 1, obviously Tia is going to be the best option. However, she's not yet available in the game. She will come later on. The only other exception, the only other option in the game right now, I've mentioned this before in my previous video, is going to be Ether. Now, as you can see, I've prepared in advance. Even I've tested with Ether multiple times. She is going to be the few exceptions. I've even included her in my synchro slot, right? So this is going to be her burst skill. As you can see, she creates a shield equal to 42% of the caster's final max HP, affects 3 ally units with the lowest remaining HP. Now, there's a big issue with Ether in general. 2 big issues. Number 1, she is an SR unit. Being an SR unit, that means she's not going to be super optimal, right? So obviously, you still want, Lita, Dorothy, those other characters are just way superior to what Ether can do. And I don't think that's that big of an issue. It's not about her being SR. It's about her being a 40 seconds burst 1 character. So you want a 20 seconds burst 1 character, 40 seconds just doesn't cut it. So being an SR, at the same time being a 40 seconds burst character, that means you're forced to bring another burst 1 because you either only want a 20 seconds. Your team is going to not look so good, like might as well just run someone else at that point, right? There's no consistent way to test Tia right now, unfortunately. Now let's talk about the other characters that can activate their shield via passives, right? So which is going to make more sense because you cannot have a character that activates shield on their burst skill, so you need a character that can activate it via passive. Let's talk about a few options that I've tested so far. Most of them are in burst 2 slot, sadly, and I know the developers Shift Up, they have thought through this. They have designed this in a way that if you pull for Naga, you're going to be forced to pull for Tia. Now let's talk about a few of these issues, right? Number 1, Senti. Senti, I tested her a bunch. Sadly, she doesn't work. Alright, so while she does have this ability, as you can see, creates a shield, which protects all allies from damage, right? But you can see this only affects self, which is a very weird one, right? She protects all allies from damage, but the shield only affects herself. In a way, this is not going to work. Alright, you need the shield to work on Naga in this case. So testing with Senti is not going to be able to work. So the other option that we have, Folk Wang, she can create a shield for you. However, this is going to be very, very difficult to achieve because Folk Wang has 2 abilities that can cast a shield. Number 1 is a skill 1, affects 2 allies with the highest attack. Okay, so this is going to be, again, very weird. So you need your Naga to be one of the 2 allies with the highest attack so that the shield is going to be able to cast on her, to be able to benefit from her skills, right? However, Naga is a supporter, she's not an attacker. Alright, so if you guys are not aware, supporters generally, you can tell by the gears, right? So you can see they are equipping a supporter gear. So that means it's going to be really, really hard to ideally get a whole bunch of attack on her. So that means you can't be bringing a bunch of burst 3 characters, or you can't be bringing a lot of attacker units. So again, teaming up with Folk Wang, it's not going to make a whole lot of sense, as you can see, right? This is like a huge issue right now. Her burst skill, same applies, affects 2 allies with the highest attack. And Naga has to be the one with the highest attack. So that brings the last one, Arya. Now Arya, again, doesn't really fully work, at least for the main burst skill, right? So Arya's skill for shield is going to be on her burst skill, so generates a shield, as you can see, and this shield will affect all allies. However, the issue with Arya, like I mentioned earlier, you're not fully utilizing your Naga. You're getting only half the kit, so you can basically burst with Arya. You won't be getting this particular one, because this is going to require your Naga to burst. So what you will be getting on Naga if you use Arya to burst is you will be getting this particular skill at least, you will be able to activate this one, where you can have a damage increase when attacking core. This is the one that you can activate currently with Arya. So as you can see, all the Nikkes in the list currently doesn't really synergize really well with Naga. Now, before you type, what about Blong? She doesn't work as well. Testing right here, as you can see. Apparently Blong's shield, like even though I clearly have shield right here, you can see this bunny circle thing in front of me, right? But it doesn't really appear in the skill, which therefore doesn't really translate to a proper skill having shield, which means that your Naga is not going to be able to activate, as long as we are with friends, the second part of it. So that's going to be an issue as well. Blong doesn't work. It's hard to see what's her full value yet. It's hard to see what's her full potential. Now, with that being said, let's still jump into a very quick battle to show you guys somewhat what she is capable of, and then we can maybe discuss from there with her potential as a solo carry unit. Although I still think that if you want to pull, you have to somewhat get Tia alongside with that as well, or else it's such a waste of your gems, right? Okay, so this is going to be my shooting range. I set up my characters as follows. We have Scarlet, and then we have Naga, Noir, with Dorothy and Modernia. So let's align this as follows. As you can see, basically Tia's place was taken before this, it was Blong. So whatever score that I get after this is going to be versus Blong in that particular spot. Let's jump into it, let's show you guys. Now something that you guys have to be aware of is Tia's skill 1 is very valuable because it increases core damage. Now there's a misconception saying that core damage only works for bosses. That's not true at all. As you can see, a lot of these small minions do have core damage as well. As you can see, every time you are able to see the word core hit on the enemy, that means you are able to, you know, benefit from the core damage, right? So in this case, this is going to be something to consider. Notice Scarlet's HP is going down. Alright, my Tia currently at skill level 4. The heal from the skill 2 doesn't seem to heal that much. It does scales off Tia's own max HP. That means that she's going to need very good gears to be able to make this a scalable thing, right? But let's fast forward till the end. One thing that you guys have to be aware of, again, I'm going to show you guys again, as long as we are with friends, which is this particular skill, this is going to be the burst skill for Naga. As you can see, we're not getting the second part of it, we're only getting this particular one. But still, it's kind of decent, right? You don't get... So in this case, I only get 11.7%. If I can get the other one, that will be consistently 40% of increased attack, which is like way more. So this is going to be the final score versus Blong at the bottom. The best damage, the total damage right now is from using Naga. Now, is this the worst thing ever? Not really. I think she's still kind of decent, but you know, there's a lot of other better bursts too that can improve this score. I believe Dola is going to be able to improve this slightly alongside with, you know, maybe even Guilty or Quincy to a certain extent, right? But right now, Naga as a solo unit, she doesn't seem to do much, but she's not the worst thing either, I would say. I still advise for you guys to maybe, if you want to pull, make sure you guys get both Tia and Naga, or if you are curious, just wait for the testing. Once Tia comes out next week, we're going to be able to test her more thoroughly, or the duo better, right? Alright, so with that being said, let me know what you guys think of Naga currently. That's going to be the video for today. This is just a first look, first impressions kind of thing. Maybe once more bosses comes, I'll be able to test her. But I've done a lot of testing against the bosses today, but most of them don't really have core. It's a little bit hard. I will try with the co-op coming this week and see what we can achieve from there. Subscribe if you guys want to see more of Naga and Tia's upcoming testing analysis videos. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.